ducks and geese. Down is made up of interlocking fibers that create micro-size air pockets. These work something like a scuba diver's wetsuit. The bird's body heat warms the trapped air. The warm air then insulates the bird against the cold water. Feathers have a central stem from which the fibers emanate. Down is more lightweight and its fibers are in clusters. Bags of plumage from waterfowl farms arrive at the feather and down processing factory. The first step is to separate the down from the feathers. A vacuum hose sucks everything up into a sorting machine that has 4 air chambers side by side. In the first one, the air blows everything upward. The heaviest feathers rise just part way, while the lighter plumage floats through an opening into the next chamber. Same air sorting process there. Heaviest stays, lighter moves on. This continues until there's only pure down in the 4th and final chamber. A vacuum hose transfers it to the cleaning machines. First, agitation and suction remove any dirt trapped inside the fibers. Then, a 13-cycle hot water wash with soap to kill bacteria, and degreaser to strip the natural oils that coat the down fibers. The last rinse cycle applies an antibacterial antifungal treatment. The next machine spins the down to remove the water. When the down comes out, it's still a bit damp. A robotic machine called the picker gathers small batches at a time and loads them into a steam dryer. After processing, the factory's lab tests a sample from each batch for cleanliness. Technicians also evaluate loft, the technical term for filling power. The higher the loft, the better the down will insulate. They measure how much space the sample fills. If the down meets specifications, the factory bags the batch for shipping to the duvet factory. First stop there, a holding tank. A programmable filling machine extracts a specific amount of down and transfers it to a canister. They shoot the canister's contents into a duvet's fabric shell. To keep the down evenly distributed throughout the duvet, they've sewn the shell into sections called boxes. Emptying one tube at a time, they fill one box at a time. That down portion stays within the box's fabric walls. Of course, that air pressure piles it all at one end of the box, but they'll spread it out later. They close the open end of each row temporarily with a plastic clip. Once they've filled all the rows, the duvet goes off to the sewing department. There, seamstresses stitch the open ends closed and sew on labels and washing instructions. A light table allows them to see the down within each box. Then they spread it out evenly using, of all things, badminton rackets. The fabric shell is 100% cotton that went through a high-pressure treatment to fuse its fibers so tightly that no down fibers can poke through. The factory also stuffs bedding items with feathers. Back at the processing factory, feathers go through the same post-washing tests that down undergoes. To measure cleanliness, lab technicians soak a sample from each batch in distilled water. Then they strain the water, mix it with sulfuric acid, then add a potassium compound. Then they analyze the color of the liquid to gauge its oxygen content. If the oxygen level's under 10, the feathers are clean enough to ship to the duvet factory. There, the feather filling process is just like the down filling process, only with bigger canisters and blowing nozzles to accommodate the larger feathers and larger fabric shells to stuff. Feathers are heavier than down and have less insulating power, but they're more affordable. Down covers only the bird's belly, and that scarcity makes it expensive. That explains why high-end bedding contains 100% down, while the rest contains either a down and feather mix or feathers alone. But there's no downside to any of those options when it comes to getting a cozy night's sleep.